Hey guys, Constance here. So I've had a busy day again today. This morning I got up and headed to Huntsville to have coffee with my friend Carol. It's been a little bit since I had coffee with her, couple of months I think, and we kept scheduling something, kept having to reschedule, and so we were finally able to get together and have coffee and catch up and all of that. And so that was very nice. And got home, and since then I have been working here in the kitchen, working on recipes, and I've been doing some writing and all of that good stuff. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a behind the scene look at making one of the recipes for my blog, Wholesome Skillet. So yes, I have this gigantic light that sits up here in the kitchen, not all the time, only when I need it. If I am doing any sort of photography after the sun goes down, which is early this time of year, I need good light. And that massive light is what it takes to get good photos of food in the evening, and especially in the winter time here. So that is a little behind the scenes look at what it's like to be a blogger and what my poor family puts up with. So I mentioned in my last video about one of the chickens that has been living her life, living her days here at A Good Life Farm, and pardon the noise, my coffee maker is finishing up brewing over there. Now this particular chicken came from a friend of mine. She had a couple of chickens and she kind of lived in town and was going to be doing a lot of traveling and just felt like she needed a better setup for chickens, and so she asked me if I would take them in, and I did, and so they have been living their days here. And this particular chicken, she's black and white, and pretty sure she's a Plymouth Barred Rock, or maybe a Dominicker. It's really hard to tell those apart. Anyways, she is black and white striped like a zebra, and her name was shortened down to Z-E-B. Now I initially pronounced it Zeb because I'm thinking of Deb. You know, I've got a friend named Deb, and so I think of it as Deb when I think it's Z-E-B, short for zebra, but with a short E. Well, I was corrected. I actually got a text message from my friend because I asked her, I'm like, how was it you pronounced that again? She says it actually sounds like an old farmer's name, only it's a girl and a chicken. And then she actually sent me a voice text so that I could hear how the name was pronounced. And I messaged her back. I said, oh, Zeb. Got it. And she responded, I was actually thinking earlier she's going to say it really fast, one quick syllable. And I guess to 99% of the world, that's how a 3-letter name works. So, no, her name is not Zeb, like Deb. It is Zeb, like a country chicken. So I stand corrected, and I will be sure to pronounce her name properly from this day forward. Zeb. So, over the weekend, I did a couple of fun things. First of all, I went through my seed catalogs. Let's see, they are, well, a couple of them are right here. I think my Baker Creek one is in there on my desk. But besides Baker Creek, which is my favorite source of seeds, I also like the Southern Exposure seed catalog. A lot of people have not heard of this one. It is a seed catalog that has a focus on the southern climate, and so many of the things that you see in this catalog, while it's not huge, it is geared toward people who live in a hot climate like we do here in Alabama. And so they have all sorts of great seeds. They also have codes, and I've talked about these catalogs in the past, but everything that you look at, there's symbols, and it lets you know if the seeds are certified organic, if they are heirloom, if they are well suited to the southeast, and if they come from a small farm. And so this is a great catalog. And then the other one that I like as well is the Seed Saver Exchange. So between the Seed Saver Exchange, the Southern Exposure Seed Catalog, and Baker Creek, those are my favorite seed catalogs. I do also like M.I. Gardner. M.I. Gardner has a great variety of heirloom seeds, non-GMO, all of the wonderful things. And what is great about M.I. Gardner is that if you are on a tight budget, all of the seeds that you get from M.I. Gardner are 99 cents a pack. I cannot speak highly enough of that because it helps people who are on a tight budget, who want a garden but really can't afford to get all of the things that they want to get, to be able to get good quality seeds at a good price. And so check out M.I. Gardner as well. So now, like I said, I put in my order this weekend and ordered new seeds. I went through and I looked at all of the seeds that I have in my seed stash. I didn't actually need to buy a ton of seeds. I do have a lot of things that I'm going to be using from my stockpile, so to speak. So I went through and I looked at what do I need more of, and I whittled it down to some new things that I do want to try this year. I had a lot of things that I wanted to try, but I've still got to build more raised beds, and so space is still kind of limited. And so I made myself not buy all the things I wanted to try, but I am going to try a couple of new things that I've never grown before. So that will be exciting. When I get my seed order in, or orders in, I will do a seed show and tell of sorts, and I will go through the list and I will talk about all of the things that I plan on growing this year, and so you'll have to stay tuned for that. But I will say that my garden journal, which I've also talked about in the past, came in very, very handy, because as I was going through there were certain things that I grew this past year and I could not remember exactly which variety they were. And so because I take notes and because I have it written down, everything that I got and where I got it from, I was able to go back and find exactly what I grew, and so I knew where I could get more of those exact seeds that I maybe didn't have any more of. So if you do not keep a garden journal, I've done a video about doing this and why I do it and all of the information that I write in there. And it was funny because after I did that video, someone actually told me that keeping a garden journal was a suggestion that Benjamin Franklin had put out there, and I did not know that, but that was wise advice. All right, so supper tonight is roast beef, and it is a slow roasted, oven roasted beef that it is a recipe I've made forever, I think. I've been making it so long I can't even remember when the first time was I made this. And it is always fantastic, fall apart tender and all of that. But I do want to say that just because I am a food blogger and just because I do all of this cooking and all of that does not mean that my family eats gourmet meals every night, because I'm also human and things don't always go the way I want them to. For instance, yesterday I was doing a bunch of cooking, and yesterday I was actually planning on making roast beef. And I started cooking everything. I was searing the onions, and then I was searing the carrots, and next I was going to sear the roast on both sides. But when I pulled out my roast from the refrigerator, it was not good. It had started turning, and I was very upset because I had just bought it from the grocery store. Yeah, so it was not roast beef yesterday, because since this is a slow roasted recipe, it takes a long time in the oven at a very low temperature, and I needed to get it in right away. But I had sent Jack with my truck to go get the oil changed for me, and I had no vehicle. So yes, so I ended up having a salad for supper, and they got some ordered pizza. Yep, it happens. But that wasn't all that happened yesterday, because no sooner did I have the roast fiasco, but then I had another recipe that I was going to do, something for the blog. And this was a recipe I was kind of trying out, figuring out, and guess what? It was terrible. It was awful. And it was not something I would be able to put on my blog. Not gonna happen. If I don't sincerely like something, I am not publishing that recipe on my blog. And so I have to play around with things, I have to test it, I have to tweak it and figure it out and get it the way I want it to before it goes on my blog. So I was trying to come up with a version of some coffee pecan pancakes yesterday, and they ended up being treats for the chickens. The chickens loved them. I did not. It would have taken a whole lot of maple syrup to make them tolerable, and that kind of defeats the purpose of healthy pancakes. So yes, I am human, and I don't have fantastic meals every single night for my family, because it just doesn't work out that way. Alright, so in the next vlog that goes up, I am going to sit down and I'm going to chat about some of the plans for the garden this year and what some of our upcoming projects are going to be here on the homestead. So be sure to check in on Friday and see what all I have planned for the homestead this coming year. And until then, thanks for joining me here. My name is Constance, and I will talk to y'all next time.